Okay, good morning everyone. Today I'm going to present about discourse analysis. In this presentation, I will explain several key points. The first, the definition and main features of discourse analysis. The second, the reason why we study it. The third, the meaning and purpose in spoken and written communication. And the fourth, the difference between linguistic form and function. The fifth, and finally, the role of context interpretation. Okay, the first, definition and features of discourse analysis. Let's begin with the definition. According to Brown and Yule, in their book published in 1983, discourse analysis is the analysis language in use. This means that it studies how people use language in real communication, not just grammar or structure. It focuses on how sentences connect to create meaning and context. Brown and Yule also highlight the meaning depends on who speaks, to whom, and for what purpose. So discourse analysis is not only about form of language, but also about how language functions in real life. The main features from Brown and Yule are: the first, it focuses on language in use. The second, it studies contextual meaning. The third, it looks beyond sentence level. The fourth, it applies to both spoken and written forms. The fifth, and views language as functional, meaning every sentence has a purpose. For example, when someone say, "Can you pass the salt?" The form is a question, but the function is actually a polite request. Okay, next, according Cook, who wrote in 1989, defines discourse analysis as the study of language above the sentence level. He emphasized that discourse is coherent sentences are connected through meaning and logic. For example, she studied all night. She passed the exam. We understand that the second sentence is the result of the first. This is called coherence. Similarly, Stubbs, in his work from 1983, also defines it as the study of language above the sentence or clause level. He focused on how meaning is built through cohesion and coherence. For instance, John came late. He was tired. The word he refers to John, showing cohesion. Meanwhile, Guy, who wrote in 1999, and Forlock, who published in 1992, expand discourse analysis into social and critical dimension. Guy sees discourse as language in use that constructs identity, power, or ideology. Verloc views language as a social practice that reflects and shapes power relations in society. Okay, so why do we study it? First, to understand language in use, how meaning depends on situation, tone, and relationship. For example, the sentence "nice job" can mean genuine praise or scams depending on context. And the second, to discover meaning in context, we'll learn that the same sentence can carry different meanings in different settings. And the third, to improve communication skill, both spoken and written. It helps us choose appropriate word and tone for different audience. For example, "Could you please send me the reports?" is more formal than "Hey, send me the report, okay?" Okay. Fourth, to understand culture difference. What is polite in one culture may sound rude in another. For example, in English, "How are you?" is often just a greeting, not a real question. Next, to identify power and ideology in language. Discourse analysis helps reveal how language can express control or influence public opinion. For instance, "War on Terror" sounds noble, but it can hide political motives. It also helps us to study, identify, and social roles. For example, when a teacher says, "Let's open your book, class," the language reflects both authority and inclusion. Finally, discourse analysis supports many professional fields such as education, media, politics, and business by helping us understand how language functions in real contexts. Okay, meaning and purpose of discourse analysis. Discourse analysis studies how language creates meaning in real communication. It is not just about words or grammar, but about how people use language to perform action like requesting, apologizing, or persuading. For example, when someone says, "It's hot in here," the sentence form is a statement, but the function could be a polite request to open the window. The purpose of discourse analysis is to understand how meanings is constructed and interpreted. It helps us connect language with the people and society to see how every word reflects emotion, intention, and power. Spoken discourse focus and interaction. It studies tone, intonation, pause, and truth-taking. For example, "Do you want some coffee?" CB. Yeah, sure. The hesitation shows politeness and informality. Spoken language is usually spontaneous, incomplete, and highly context dependent. For example, later. Yeah, okay. Even without full sentence, the meaning is clear. Okay, the function of spoken discourse include the first, mentioning social relationship. An example, greeting or small talk. The second is changing information. Example, asking or explaining. And the third, and influencing others. Example, debating or persuading. Okay, written discourse, on the other hand, focus on organization and coherence. It is more structured, permanent, and grammatical. Writers use topic sentence, logical connector like therefore and however, and cohesive device to make their writing clear. An example, in conclusion, the data shows. Okay, while spoken language relies on tone and gesture, written discourse depends on word choice and sentence structure. For instance, spoken. Got it? Written. Do you understand the instruction provided above? In short, spoken discourse is spontaneous and interactive, and written discourse is plain, formal, and permanent. Now, let's move the difference between form and function. Form refers to the grammatical structure. What is said, for example, "Can you pass the salt?" has the form of a question. Function refers to the communicative purpose, why it is said. In this case, the function is a polite request, not a question about ability. The same form can have different function, and then the same function can be expressed in different forms. For example, "You are coming" may express invitation, surprise, or confirmation depending on context. A sentence is a grammatical unit. It stands alone. An utterance, however, is how a sentence is actually used in situation. For example, "You are late." As a sentence, it's neutral. But as utterance, it could express anger, disappointment, or humor depending on tone and situation. That's why discourse analysis focuses more utterance, because meaning depends on real life use, not only structure. Okay, the role of context in interpretation. Finally, context plays central role in meaning. The same sentence can mean different things depending on the speaker, listener, and situation. For example, can you open the window? It's not about ability, it's a polite request. Pragmatic studies how people understand intended meaning and context. Discourse context connects ideas across sentence. For example, he dropped the glass, it broke. We know it refers to the glass. In Halliday, in his work published in 1985, introduced the next of situation, which includes the first file, what is happening, the second, tenor, who is in full, the third, mode, how communication occurs. For example, when a teacher says, "Be quiet please" in class, it sounds polite, but in friendly chat, the same sentence could sound rude because the tenor changes. Okay, to summarize, the first, discourse analysis help us to understand how language works in context. The second, it shows that meaning depends on purpose, relationship, and situation. And the third, it improves our communication skills and cultural awareness. The fourth, it also helps us recognize how language reflects power, identity, and ideology. In short, discourse analysis is not about what people say, but about why and how they say it. Okay, thank you for attention.